What can 1 cent do? The 1 cent local sales tax for education, which has been in place for education in Thomasville and Thomas County since 2003, has funded 3 entirely new schools: Hand in Hand Primary School, Thomas County Middle School, and Bishop Hall Charter School. In addition to these entirely new schools, the sales tax has funded major additions and renovations at Harper Elementary School, Jurger Elementary School, Scott Elementary School, McIntyre Park Middle School, Thomasville High School, Thomas County Middle School, Thomas County Central High School, and a full modernization of the main building at Garrison Pilcher Elementary School. The sales tax has also funded new school buses for both the city and county school systems and maintenance vehicles. In addition to satisfying these important facility needs, thousands of textbooks and computers have been purchased with the 1 cent sales tax. Band instruments, science laboratory equipment, and career technology and agricultural education equipment have been purchased. In addition to these facility acquisitions, major maintenance projects like replacing heating, air conditioning, and ventilation systems and floor covering have been completed without costing property owners additional property tax dollars. Georgia's Esplost, educational, special purpose, local option, sales tax was made possible by a state law passed in 1996, which allows each county to levy a 1 cent local option sales tax for the special purpose of funding capital projects for education. Thomasville and Thomas County have had an Esplost in place since 2003. Georgia law requires that voters reapprove the Esplost every 5 years in order for sales tax collections to be continued. Thomas County citizens will be asked to vote March 16, 2021 to continue the local sales tax for education. Both the city and county school boards have passed resolutions calling for the renewal of the Esplost. School leaders, teachers, and parents have worked together on preparing the projects to be included in Esplost V. Technology is rapidly changing the educational experience, beginning with our youngest learners and extending to our high school students who complete online college courses. The COVID-19 pandemic has stressed the technology within both school systems, requiring that student devices be refreshed. Not only do both systems have a need for updated computer devices for students and teachers to use, the schools must update and maintain switches, routers, and other infrastructure devices that are needed to deliver internet connections to classrooms. Textbooks and digital instructional content for use on computer devices require periodic updates. Aging lab and CTAE facilities and equipment must be updated or replaced. New school buses are needed by both school systems. Studies conducted by the National Association of State Drivers for Pupil Transportation Services have shown that the typical life cycle for a Type C bus is 12 years and a Type D bus 15 years. Both the city and county school systems are operating school buses that are over 20 years old. These buses must be replaced as soon as possible, and both systems need additional buses. Fine arts programs will receive new equipment and instruments at all grade levels in both systems. State funding for public education as a percentage of the total budget has declined significantly since the turn of the 21st century. Using the Thomas County school system budget as an example, in 2002, 72% of the local school budget was funded by the state. In 2021, the state portion of the budget has been reduced to only 60%. As more expenses have been absorbed by local taxes, Esplost revenue has paid for many capital projects, like new school buses and air conditioning system replacement, which were previously paid for with local property taxes. If the 1 cent sales tax for education were not to be renewed, these needs would have to be met by local property taxes. Within the city school tax district, local property taxes would have to be increased by 4 mills, a 22% increase, to replace the Esplost revenue. Within the county school tax district, local property taxes would have to be increased by nearly 7 mills to replace the Esplost revenue. Replacing Esplost revenue with property taxes would require a 50% property tax increase for county property owners. In addition to the important capital needs, such as school buses, instructional technology, and instructional equipment, both school systems have facility needs that can only be met through a renewal of Esplost. The main building at Thomasville High School was built in 1975. The design of the nearly 50-year-old building poses challenges for modernization. The school district is working closely with architects and engineers to develop the most cost-efficient solution to meeting the needs of high school students in safe, modern classrooms. The original McIntyre Park Middle School building, which housed Thomasville High School prior to 1975, was built in two stages, the North Building in 1924 and the South Building in 1931. These historic buildings will be modernized using a historic preservation approach. New construction is planned to provide for CTAE labs and classrooms for high school and middle school students. The historic McIntyre Park Auditorium, which was partially renovated with funds from previous Esplost programs, needs additional renovations to include modernized dressing rooms. Harper Elementary School will be modernized to include new heating and air conditioning, new paint, and new floor covering. Jurger Elementary School was built in multiple stages over its more than 60 years of service. Several of the older buildings need updated heating, air conditioning, and interior modernizations. Scott Elementary School will be modernized to include a new roof, new heating and air conditioning, and new plumbing and electrical systems. While the City Board of Education offices have been moved to the beautifully restored third floor of the Federal Building, additional renovations are needed on this landmark building, including restoring the exterior to its original splendor and completing ground floor and second floor renovations. All Thomasville High School athletic facilities will receive improvements, including new lighting. Within the Thomas County school system, numerous facility upgrades are also planned. Opened in 2005, Hand in Hand Primary School is now 16 years old and is in need of new paint and floor covering, new heating and air conditioning, and roofing upgrades. The main building at Garrison Pilcher's oldest school, which opened in 1969, was fully modernized using Esplost IV funds. Esplost V will provide funding to update the two annex buildings and to repave parking lots and driveways. Constructed in 1993, the 28-year-old Cross Creek Elementary School received new heating and air conditioning as part of Esplost IV. Esplost V will provide new windows and doors, modernized restrooms, and new paint and floor covering for Cross Creek. Improvements will also be made to driveways and parking areas, playgrounds, and the athletic fields at Cross Creek. Thomas County Middle School opened in 2005 and needs a new roof, new heating and air conditioning, new ceilings and lights, new floor covering and paint throughout the school. Esplost IV funds allow the Thomas County school system to begin development of middle school athletic fields. Esplost V will provide funding for drainage improvements, lighting, and other upgrades to complete these facilities. Thomas County Central High School opened 31 years ago and is in need of campus-wide improvements to include new windows and doors, new floor covering and paint, and new and upgraded parking areas. A new multi-purpose building will also be constructed on the high school campus to provide needed classroom space, a JROTC facility, locker rooms, and other athletic facilities. Bishop Hall Charter School is operating in a 2014 Esplost-funded building and a renovated gym and CTAE building. Esplost V will provide funding for capital improvements to include storage and support facilities and upgraded technology for Bishop Hall. Depending upon enrollment growth and other program needs, additional classrooms or laboratories may be constructed on the various school campuses. Originally constructed in 1957 as Central School, the Thomas County Board of Education campus, located at 200 North Pine Tree Boulevard, houses the school system's administrative offices, the Renaissance Center, the district's alternative school, the region's headquarters for the Georgia Network for Educating and Therapeutic Services, including 12 classrooms, and the Yellow Jacket Football Stadium. Numerous renovations are planned to the Board of Education campus, including new heating and air conditioning systems, roof, window, and door replacements, new restrooms, and interior and exterior renovations. The Michael Ray Owens building on the Board of Education campus houses the school system's 550-seat auditorium, which is used by all of the schools and the community, the Professional Learning Center, and the Board of Education's meeting room. This building was constructed in 1986 and needs new heating and air conditioning and various interior improvements to include new seating for the auditorium. The softball and baseball fields and tennis courts at Thomas County Central High School will receive new lighting to replace the 25-year-old fixtures that are beginning to fail, and other improvements. The Yellow Jacket Football Stadium, including the field house, will also see renovations. What will one penny do? It will ensure that the children of Thomasville and Thomas County have up-to-date textbooks and instructional technology, safe and reliable school buses, and bright and modern facilities. It will also help keep property taxes lower than they would have to be if the total local burden for financing education were to fall totally on local property taxes. Remember, this is not a vote for a tax increase. This is a vote to continue the local sales tax for education that has been in place since 2003, nearly 20 years, and which 99% of the counties in Georgia have to support their public schools. Of Georgia's 159 counties, only one does not have an Esplost, and that county, Burke County, receives revenue from the nuclear power plant there. Please help educate your family, friends, and neighbors about how Esplost helps keep our public schools strong and property taxes lower than they would otherwise have to be.